So here we are, the West Hollywood Library. Can't really see my title here, but that's okay. Um, this is Healing Conversations with Raymel Bentley and myself, Angelique Johnson. And this is kind of the part where I am here in the room waiting for Brother Raymel to get here to park his core and get his little validation. You feel me? And then we're going to be doing our debrief. And during that, I will be muting the microphone. And I thought that was this guy, bald black guy came in, and I was like, oh, he's here, not him. Funny. But I'm waiting for Brother Ramel to come in. I will mute the mic and I will cover the camera so that we can do our debriefing session and, you know, have a moment to collect ourselves before we begin this conversation. If this is the first video that you are coming across for Healing Conversations, this is a space where we talk about all things healing and we hold space for each other to be vulnerable and express what we're going through. Raymel and I have been on our spiritual growth journeys, our personal development journeys for some time now, but we do not hold ourselves higher than anyone or try to act like we're anybody's guru or anything of that nature. We are simply holding this space for the community at large to navigate things that they may not be able to navigate in other spaces. And also, this space has been beautiful for myself, and I know for Brother Ramel as well. And I'm just really grateful for the opportunity to bring this to you all so that you can see it. So if you are also watching this, you happen to pop in while it's live, or you happen to see this on this page, please go follow my professional page. Well, it's like pseudo professional, it's not like business page, but VZ Spaces. That's V as in Victor, Z as in zebra, spaces as in space with an S. That is where I post other healing conversations and just other content to uplift, inspire, encourage, empower, and to motivate you that your transformation is possible. If you are not aware, I do have a book out. I'm an artist, I'm an author, I'm an advocate for youth mental wellness. And my book, Days of Darkness, is a coloring book slash an opportunity for me to share parts of my story that were some of my darkest days and the light that those moments brought forth for me, and sharing them with you, kind of hindsight is 2020 type of vibe. So yeah, that's gonna be happening soon and very soon. And I am simply waiting for Brother Ramel to round this corner. I wanted to make sure that I had everything together so that we could just get the ball rolling. Actually, I might pause this live. I might have lied. I might have lied. I might pause this live and do another live stream. So if this is the video that you're happening to see, there is another video. It is going to be much lengthier and there will be another person here. So yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do because I kind of figured out the logistics of it. So I'm proud of myself for that. Unless he comes around the corner right now. Right now. Nope, I don't see him. So thank you for taking the time. Oh yeah, there he is. Hey. So I'm going to mute this and turn.
We're
We're
live.
live.
Hello,
Let's.
hello, IG family. Happy Saturday,
Hey.
y'all. Sending that good energy your way. As always, IG, let the people
Hey.
know. Let them know we are here for another healing
Yes, I put
conversations.
my story in. I haven't done that in a minute. Where I'm like, hey, we're going live for healing
I've seen that
conversations. So
as
I
I
was
was
like,
in
oh.
route.
Hey,
Helen,
Helen.
welcome.
Yes,
Happy
we're glad you found us
Saturday.
today.
Welcome, y'all. Healing Conversation, where we talk everything healing, expansion, and growth. I always
Yes.
say that I believe that as we heal individually, we support the collective healing because it's a ripple that goes out and we bring it back
Hey,
in.
Leah.
Leah, hello. I'm sitting in my car watching the
Ooh,
sunset. And that's so
yes.
in alignment with what we're talking about. We're going
Oh,
to talk about
sunshine.
today.
Your boo.
But say hey to the people before we just jump up in here.
Hello, beautiful people. Hey, hey. My name is Angelique. I am Brother Ray Mel's sister Fran. And we have been on this journey for some time now. And I'm so grateful for his friendship and just the support. I'm a spiritual coach and a youth mental wellness advocate. And I'm just so grateful for this space because it has helped open up things in me. And I love hearing from you all and your shares. So if you would like to hop on, definitely let us know, send a request, or just chat in the comments if you don't feel like being on camera, because we love the engagement. It's so important to building the conversation. So, yeah, don't let us just be up here yapping. I know you got something to say about Rome.
What's up with this reception? Here we go. We're back.
Romance.
We're back.
You got something to say about romance? Definitely hit us
What
up.
is going on with this reception?
It's like
I wonder if I should try to use the Wi-Fi.
go for it. Yeah. You want to hop off and hop back in? Will it?
If it keeps. How is the reception? Is it still breaking up?
Are we choppy?
Helen, let me know. Is it better now, or should I hop on? Is it better, or is it still breaking up?
Better or break it up? Yes. Better.
It's bad. Okay, what we're gonna do? I'm gonna hop on this library's Wi-Fi just to see if that works.
Okay.
Hold on. What is the Wi-Fi?
It's just the county, yeah. And then you got to do a little agreement and be like, I agree. It's pretty long. So. I agree. And then you can just close that.
It's good. Okay.
Okay.
I hope they're still there.
Are we big?
Okay.
Man.
Reconnecting.
Are we back? And we back, and we're back, and we back.
Is that Sister Carrie?
Yeah.
Reconnecting. Are we back? Are we live? Are we here?
Are we here?
Are we better? Is the question. Is this reception better? Who else? Hopefully y'all hold space for grace and love and support as we navigate through these technical.
We're getting hearts.
Is it better, Helen?
I feel like the hearts are like
I feel like it's given what it needs to give.
It's doing what it needs to do.
All right. So let's just jump in and then hopefully this Wi-Fi is given Wi-Fi.
Stability.
Okay, it's better. Thank you. Okay, so today we're gonna be talking about romance. Because 'tis the season, right? We're in fall and it's not just because of the season, but this is no coincidence that we are wanting to talk about it during the season of this is when it's cold out. People want a little snuggle buddy. They want a romantic partner that they can hang with and chill with. And what really sparked this is Sister Angelique and I were Sister Angelique and I were at my hiking group that I do with a friend on Saturdays, Fit and Fun Saturdays. And we finished our hike and we were walking down and we were just talking about life as we do. And I don't even know how we got on the romance, but no, we were talking about how we're like calling things in and that we should include
how to prioritize, like for myself wanting to have like my own place, but also being like I also want children and a partner, and like which one should I focus on first, and those types of things. So yeah.
And that like ignited like this thought of
it's a me.
So me, oh my God. How like we're talking about like how Sister Angelique was saying like how when she gets her place, like she wants to be able to invite them over and to cook for them. Not cook for them,
I
but
didn't
cook.
say that. I mean, I wouldn't mind, but that's not what I
She didn't
said.
say that, but like entertain them and have them over and
Yeah,
just
just
have that
spend some intimate
time.
time together that's like not
In
sexual
time, yeah,
intimacy,
that
just
is
like
like in there,
some
like, and
time.
not just
Yeah.
go over to their place, but like invite them over and have those experiences. And what I was going into sharing, it was like, I know for me, like, it seems like I would want to meet them outside of the home area because I feel like that's intimate. And every time that I've had encounters where either I'm invited to their home or they come to my home, they just want to F boop UCK. Like they just want to get it popping. And what Sister Angelique reflected to me was that, hey, Sister Nicole, she
Hey,
reflected to
Nicole.
me, it was that like, okay, if we are wanting to attract a certain thing, we have to be mindful at our energy because if I'm speaking about a past experience, that's what I'm going to recreate in my current. I'm going to continue to attract people that just want to get it popping and who is not going to want to like have those intimate mental exchanges versus physical exchanges. And we were speaking like, and she had me think like, well, it is possible if I shift the language in which I'm speaking those encounters, that will shift the
Hey,
type of
Sandy.
people, hey Sandy, that I'm attracting back into my field. So it really sparked up this like because I literally have been speaking like I'm ready. Like I've been saying this for a while, y'all, and it amplifies more around the fall season. And it's like I really want someone I could snuggle with that I could
So
like
you've
just.
been thinking of.
I have been thinking like I do want the cuddle buddy. I
Yeah,
do want
yeah.
the intimacy, not in the physical like get it
Yeah.
popping. Because one thing about me is if I am wanting to get to know someone, I don't want to be intimate with them right away. And that's just like I don't know if it's a rule that I have, but it's just a just approach that I go by. Like if I don't care to get to know you, we can do that and then that's just that. But if I want to get to know you, it's hard for me to decipher the two. Like if we go into the intimacy and then we're trying to build and get to know because at that point I've known you on a way intimate physical level. So at this point, I think that's where I in the past would get lost in the infatuation of like, oh my God, we're so in love. Oh my God, this is the one. But it was just a good night or a good time. And I misinterpreted as, oh my God, we are going to be together forever. And oh my God, we never meet or see each other again. After that amazing night we had together,
Next lifetime.
or they call me or they reach out to me when they want to have that same experience. So it's been that like misinterpretation that I have been stuck in regards to either it's this or that versus opening myself to being to just allowing myself to not get lost in even when I'm speaking it what I don't want or want what once was and really be open for what can be. So that's really what came up for me as we were talking in our hike earlier, but I'll
Yeah,
pass the mic to you.
that's valid. Well,
I
really,
told y'all this is gonna be juicy, y'all. So join into the
get ready to
comments,
have
come on the
it.
virtual stage. Like we want this interaction because I'm sure we can learn through y'all experiences too.
Absolutely. But I love what you said about getting into connecting with somebody and then immediately jump into the intimacy and feeling like, oh, we just know each other so deeply now. Like our souls are intertwined. Like, but it's like you know them physically
Look at
physically.
them juices up.
um, we know the other person intimately on a physical level, but we don't know them intimately, like you're saying, on a mental level or an emotional level. We haven't taken that time to actually have those conversations about who we are as people and what we want our lives to be like, and like things that you share when you're vulnerable with somebody. Like, yes, you may have gotten, down into your skin robe, you feel
Mm-hmm.
me? But did you really get into like your soul robe? Ooh, okay.
Okay.
and that's and that's and I think that
Hmm.
Sorry, y'all. We're goofy
This
today.
is Goofy
Goofy
Saturdays.
today. But and I think it's so important to understand that prioritization of getting to know somebody in an intimate way, mentally, emotionally, energetically, before exchanging that physical intimacy. And like Raymel was saying, like not saying it's like a rule, it's just an order of how you desire to get to know somebody, right? Like it's not about, oh, I'm waiting 90 days or I'm
Girl, I used
waiting
to say
after the
that.
fourth
I used to
date,
say that. I'm 90 days and we can't do
90-day
anything.
Nancy over here. But but it's more
Oh,
just
we got the request.
understanding. Yes, we listen, come on
Come
up.
on up.
It's just more of an understanding of this is how I want to, I want to connect more first with somebody on like a emotional level. And then Raymel also was saying earlier during our hike how we can look at people a certain way and then be like, ooh, I wonder, what this would
Mm-hmm.
be like or what that would be like. And then, kind of reconditioning that lustful eye or that lustful energy. Because if you stepping into a connection with somebody and you're like, okay, I'm gonna, connect with them first, but in the side of your brain, you're just kind of like,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna feel like you are like repressing or suppressing that energy, that sexual energy, and you're like, now it's a rule. Now you're not just getting to know this person. Now you're like, I'm,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not just getting to know this person. I'm holding off this energy, this attraction that I have until I get to know them. So I'll end it there because Mel is feeling some type of way.
We about to let y'all up in here. We got Sister Shumi, Sister Nicole. Let's see, I'm accepting. We got Helen.
I think we can do that.
I think I could do.
I
I
think it's
sent
four
y'all.
of
I
us.
accepted all of y'all requests. So come on up in here.
Hey
We
y'all.
got the tribe coming in.
You guys are cracking me up.
Oh
You
my
looking
god.
crude today, Nicole?
She's at the
Oh,
seminar.
you at the soul speaking in
I got some
Atlanta?
guests over here walking through the corner.
Okay.
I had to hop on this
We
conversation though,
appreciate you.
and I think I can say that language going into a intimate relationship, even calling it an intimate relationship, I'm not to the point where I have, though I'm open to receiving love in this season, and I want love in an intimate manner. I'm truly at a space that I'm looking for soul connection on all levels and all forms. So being open to understanding that I'm looking for attraction in the soul, in alignment with my morals, my characters, my values, my energy. I now call it intentionally dating once I get to a space that I realize that your desires are aligned with my desires. So I'm at a space that now, let's see if our life, our morals, our lifestyle align with one another. So, like you said, language is so important, and I know I double back on the fact of putting rules on things, right? Making sure that when I do have that soul attraction towards somebody, and then we have actually got to a space where we have curated an idea that this could be a potential or possible intimate relationship or going towards an intimate relationship. I kind of have now allowed myself to not put that rule of just you gotta hold off. Oh, you don't want to get too connected or whatever. I mean, I know that adding that level of connection definitely can curate something in your body and your soul and your energy towards a destructive key. But also I realized that it's also a limiting belief holding me back for why I wouldn't take it to that next stage. So I just been trying to go with the flow when it comes to like intentionally dating and seeing if lifestyles and life and energy align with each other. So that's my thing.
I can't let me stop because we're not gonna get. But I love that, and I want to ask a question to you, Sister Nicole,
Yes.
because I know that I love the.
Yeah, I'm single for anybody that was wondering.
But I love that you brought into the conversation intentional dating, meaning you're being very intentional in who you're giving energy to, who you're giving your focus on. And with that, going with the flow, do you find that sometimes the river may flow into old types of attractions?
Yes, yes, yes. And but you know what I've also realized as well? I have let myself and allow myself the freedom to explore those old connections if the feeling, if the environment and the time has evolved. But what I have noticed is with me being as open and true to myself in this season and the walk of life that I'm in right now and knowing what I want out of a partner and what will help make me develop into the best version of myself, that those relationships don't last. Don't double back. I mean, it might work for you, but for me, it has not worked.
And that's why I asked that question because 9 out of 10 times we attract the old type because we still need to learn the old lesson.
Yes.
And until we learn that lesson, we can't graduate to the new aligned type that we don't even know we have. Because for me, I know there was a certain physical type that I used to be into. There used to be a certain feeling of just the interactions that I used to be used to. But I realized that was just a comfort for me and it was a safety net that I stayed stuck in. And then I would want someone who was more mentally, that mentally stimulates me, that spoke the same language and all the things. But when I would get them, I didn't know how to be with them. So I would fumble the ball because I thought I wanted that and I thought I was ready for that. But what I would do is push it away, or I wouldn't know how to be in a way of connection because I'm like, oh my God, wait, you married me. Oh my God, you could see in me so I just felt so exposed and I felt so unready. So that's why I asked, like, with that flow, the river just flow back to like, okay, here we go. Okay, here's the one that reminds you of the ex. This is the one to remind you of the other ex. And just being aware of those
I would also
patterns.
say, because I have been so open in regards to this area, and also I've also said I don't know if most people are aware, but like I essentially date myself now in a season 2, which has also opened up the window of opportunity to meet different body and different environments and different experiences. Like last Sunday, I went to a play. I went out now twice for dinner.
For her birthday. Happy belated.
Look, 35 and 5.
Where?
Okay.
Yes. I'm sorry, y'all been cutting up all day, so I want to cut it.
I was not.
Go for it. Where's the receipt?
But in all honesty, I've allowed myself to go this week alone. In the last 7 days, I went to a play, so I'm going to meet a different kind of energy in that space than I will at a restaurant, than I am going to at a movie, and then I am going to a concert. But I'm allowing myself to really explore in this world, like in this moment, in this season of my life, in all different realms to see what excites my soul. Like I said, I'm looking for soul energy, soul connection with myself and others, and really allowing myself to expand, to be open in this season as well. So I have stumbled across those that are familiar energies that are familiar to me, but I've also challenged myself to step outside of my comfort, if that makes sense.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
What you gotta say, Helen?
Helen, what you wanna? We know you got some things to tell us. The mic is yours.
You know, I mean, really, at 72, this is like, oh man, I've been there, done all that, you know? And I had 2 long-term relationships that were really, really good. I was married for 16 years. But now, you know, it's a whole different world out there.
Indeed.
It's a whole different world out there. And I've been trying, and it's just been a constant disappointment. And so that's what I've done. You know, Ramel, I took myself out for my birthday. You know, I bought myself flowers.
Yeah.
I feel so good today. I mean, I spent the whole day by myself. I'm sitting by the ocean. I've been here for hours waiting for the sun to set. And I'm at peace, and I just feel really good in the midst of a lot of crap. You know, like I just met this guy not that long ago, and it was like, I don't want to be intimate first, because that's just having sex.
Mm-hmm.
That's not getting to know anybody.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it just mucks up the works. And I only know one way, and it's 150%. So I got to be really careful where I put my heart.
Yeah.
You know? And I'm putting it in myself right now. You know, and I've been deleting and blocking like a crazy woman, but I have standards. You know, and really don't mess up what I've worked to get.
Okay.
You know, either add to it, bring something good to the table, or get the fuck out, because I'm good on my own. And I really am, you know? I had a really interesting, I won't talk too much longer too. I did allow this guy to come in, and I was making dinner. Wasn't supposed to be any, you know, sex involved. Well, that went out the window real quick. And we went out. You know, I don't go out much. We went out to a club, and which is very different for me, but we had a really good time. He was really attentive. He was friendly and nice to the help, you know, to the servers and other people around. All that was really good. And then he turned into like a Jekyll and Hyde, and then he was like a nut job, you know. It was like, and I had to tell him to get out of my fucking house. You know, so it was like, no more coming in. You know, I don't care if you don't want to wait 3 months or however long it takes me to feel comfortable with you, then hit the road. Because I'm not playing no more.
Yes.
My playing days are over, you know. My husband, my ex-husband, and I are still friends. Neither one of us could tell you why it ended. But when we, you know, it was immediate. It was an immediate soul connection. There was no games. There was no shit. It was what it was. We loved each other. That was it. We did it. And we did it for 16 years pretty well. You know, so, and ever since then, you know, and again, Raymond, it goes back to that wanting attention, you know, wanting to be validated, wanting to be loved, you know, and I'm doing that because of you and Angelique. I'm doing that for myself now. You know, I've been down here almost 5 years. I've never drove to the ocean by myself to watch the sunset. You know? And I'm doing it. So,
Helen, you have a question.
The whole romance thing, you know.
Helen, there's a question for you in the comments. They say, Helen, Sumi says, Helen, do you fear loneliness at 72? What advice do you have for the younger ones?
Yeah, I definitely struggled with loneliness.
Bye.
But to be honest with you, not really until I lost my dog of 14 years. When I lost my dog of 14 years, there was a big void, you know. And yeah, I want someone to cuddle with and someone to talk to and just to hang out and be with, and you know. But if it's not happening, it's not happening. So my lesson, I had a really good lesson. I asked the universe, like, what was the lesson with all this? And the lesson was when I'm sitting by myself at night on my bed and I'm feeling that emptiness. I mean, I have a soul connection with the universe, but I need something physical. You know, I want something physical. However, inviting this guy into my house and spending the night with me turned on a light bulb. And I said, girl, I would much rather be here by myself. You know, I can be alone. Do I want to be alone? Not necessarily, but I can do it. I am doing it. I've been doing it.
That's powerful.
You know, and thank God, however many months ago it was, I found you two, and it's just made a huge difference in my life.
It feels like it's been years, Helen. It's like it feels like it hasn't. It's been.
I know.
I agree. Thank God you two came into our lives.
Absolutely. I mean, it's made such an enormous difference. I don't even think I can articulate it. But here I am, sitting here in the car, looking at the sunset, not feeling lonely, not feeling depressed, you know, just feeling good. Good.
Feeling free is what it sounds like, Helen. You're feeling free.
Yeah.
I love seeing you outside, like, because, you know, usually, like, from
I'm
what I
usually in the
remember,
bedroom.
yeah, you're, like, sitting on the couch or your bed or something. And now you're just outside and the sun's all on their face and you're like glowing. I'm like, I love this.
This is my element. This is what I came down here for. It's just so it soothes my soul. It's being by the ocean. So anyway, I'm done. I don't want to take up any more time.
Thank you, Helen.
We appreciate you, Helen, as always.
Me too.
Yes.
So I have a question for everyone that's in the room right now. I know I spoke on the importance of intentionally dating. Do anybody have any examples or conversations that are curated during that stage that you would give as advice for what intentional dating looks like?
Advice for what intentional
Yeah, I might because I am
So me?
in it.
Girl.
Show me you've been here this whole time,
I
girl.
had a feeling.
I had a feeling that happened too. We can't see you.
Cannot see you, though.
I'm here. I can see everybody though.
Oh my God, Sumi, I felt your energy, but I knew, I'm like, she can't be in the comments. I'm like, she has to, because I accepted everyone's request. I'm like, what, Sumi didn't make it?
I knew it.
Oh my
I've been here the whole
goodness.
time, just listening in.
Oh, go ahead, the floor is yours,
Yeah, go
Sumi.
ahead.
Yeah, so I'm actually participating in an intentional dating. I've only been talking to this person for about 2 months. And I would say that one thing that has been coming up for me in this, it's really just releasing that part of myself that was so used to a lot of trauma from relationships, right? So now it's being intentional and basically just being myself. And I'm finding out right now that I am just now, 7-8 weeks into this, getting to know this person. I'm just now at the point where I'm now asking him, questions like, okay, what is your family like? Where are your parents living?
Do you love your mama?
More about him. Exactly. And it's interesting because in my before times, I would not ask this. I will probably ask these questions in the beginning, and it will be one of the first top 10 questions in week 1. But now it's giving myself the grace of sitting in and basically just letting things flow and not rushing to ask questions because I'm not rushing to want to have sex. I'm much more interested in getting to know this person first before that, right? And when the sexual moment comes, it's going to be more of a moment of let it just happen and not so much the planning of it, right? So just being spontaneous, really, and, taking it one day at a time and just getting to know them. So that, to me, is intentional dating. Where you're not being rushed and you're not being forced, into making up your mind as to, how we've been talking for a week, so I have to have sex with this person, right? Or he's taking me out to dinner, so because he spent $100 at dinner, I have to have sex with him. No, I'm not gonna do that. Absolutely. So having and saying all these things in the beginning of the dating as to, hey, I like you, I want to keep these conversations going, but I'm not ready for sex yet. I want sex to happen, in a way that it will be spontaneous. I will be, happy to have this with you, this bonding moments with you and such, right? So for me, that is intentional dating, really, and just not rushing these moments. Going on long walks. We've gone on a couple of walks together.
Cool.
We've gone to, our first date was actually at a Starbucks. Yes.
I told Sister Angelique, I said, I need to meet someone at a coffee shop, at a park.
Yes.
Outdoors. Nothing that's going to be enclosed.
I encourage walks, coffee dates, like these two are like the best because it shows that you're not into this for the money. You're not into this because you're hungry and you want to cook dinner. You know, you want to get to know this person outside of how much do you have that you want to spend on me, because really, we know everything is energy. The fact that we are spiritually educated, we need to utilize that part of it. There's a lot of talk and a lot of noise on social media about dating, what you should do, what you should not do. So for me, it is turning down that noise, because I promise you, if I were to sit down on these reels and on these social media platforms and listening to everybody talk, I'm like, nope, I'm just gonna shut everything up. Where is the needle and the thread? I need to sew up my vagina, right?
Can I just interject? I just had this one thought that I just wanted to put out there. You absolutely sew up your vagina, but you have to be true to yourself. You have to be true to yourself. That's intentional, by being true to yourself.
Yes.
And that's not so easy. It's not so easy to be true to yourself. It takes a lot of work to get there, to find out who you are and what is it that you're really looking for, and what kind of responsibility do you want to put on somebody else. There's a lot to it.
Yeah, it's interesting. Something that's coming up for me is that this guy recently approached me, and he was very adamant about us exchanging phone numbers, and I was like, okay, sure, whatever, just let's. I'm not feeling it, but I'm in a season of keeping myself open to possibilities, because like kind of how we've been talking about, I think the universe has been trying to show me lessons and like teach me things, and this exchange actually did teach me something, and so he had texted me, and I forgot what the like full part of the conversation was. I was like, I feel like you're being very like pushy, like even through the text message. I'm not really comfortable. I'm not really into this. So and I don't feel like we are like aligned. I just don't feel like we connect. And they're like, okay, like I'll calm down a little bit and da 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 da. And I'm just like, okay, dude, like why? Like my thing is, if somebody is like telling you no thank you, no thank you, no thank you, why keep knocking and knocking and knocking? Like what's the point there? In any case,
Narcissistic behavior.
Listen, but he pulled back, and that's why I was like, I'm not really feeling this, because again, I was picking up some things. I'm not trying to label people, but I was like, this doesn't feel aligned with where I am. And then so I was trying to like make conversation, and they were asking me like, what are you into? I'm like, oh, I like these things. I was like, oh, what are you into? And they said, I like to like go out and go to clubs, and sometimes I like to go to games, but I'm pretty much whatever you're into, or like I like to do everything. And I had this realization within myself. I was like, oh, I really don't like general people. Like I like people who are like specific, and they know what they want, they know what they like, and they want to share that experience. And even if it's something that I'm not specifically into or have experienced, they're like, this is what I like to do, not just like, I like to do what you like to do. Because that's where my last relationship, and my only adult relationship, honestly, that's kind of where it was. And it was always just like, oh, well, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? And it's just like, neither of us was really having our own, like Helen was saying, having our own identity, knowing what we liked, knowing what we wanted. And I recognized through that interaction, like, oh, I don't like, I forgot who said it specifically, but wandering generalities. Like, don't be a wandering generality, be meaningful specific. And I was like, oh, I want my partner to be a meaningful specific. We can see you.
Can you see me now?
Yes. But yeah, I realized that I want my partner to be a meaningful specific, because that's what I am expecting from myself. So I just wanted to say that, that resonated with me, because that's it, being intentional with dating. like asking questions. I mean, Sumi was saying like don't interrogate somebody to see if you can just start smashing nasty bits. You feel me? Like just really have these conversations, really get to know this person and see what it is, and not like just grilling them about who they are, because that's not you really getting to know somebody. That's you interviewing them for dating, you know. And so like what through this conversation I was able to get that understanding of like, oh, I can have conversations with somebody and see what they like and see what they're into. And if they're like, oh, I don't really have anything specific, whatever you're into, I'm like, that's not for me.
I gotta just say, in my experience, it takes like 3 years to actually get to know someone. I mean, it's just been my experience. It takes 3 years because people don't show. We don't even show ourselves all at the same time. This 3 months we have to have sex businesses doesn't run in my world, So.
And I want to ask Helen, 3 years, within that 3 year span, how do you feel like layers each year start to release to where they're starting to show more and more of themselves within that time?
Yes, because people have a tendency to put their best foot forward. To try to show you all the best things, the good things about them, but you don't see them what happens when they stump their toe on a rock, or have a bad day, or somebody pisses them off, or they don't like the way they're being served. There's so many layers, and it was never that complicated for me with those two long relationships. I was with one guy from the time I was 16 till I was 29.
Angelique.
And there was no games. It just was, and now it's just really hard to, like Angelique, to find someone that you're truly aligned with. That you can support each other and share your life with. I don't know. It's very complicated. People have written books about it. I guess I'll put it in my book.
Yeah.
I will say though, for myself personally, and I know it is very seldom that you run into people who have found beauty in their imperfections or have allowed themselves to fully show up and embrace their authentic self. I don't want to say I lead with the necessarily bad, but I show up and I'm vulnerable enough in conversations to express truly who I am, flaws and all. And I'm not afraid. And like you said, a lot of people do wear masks or show up as their best version of themselves. So that it does take some time. But even if you are somebody like myself who's pretty open and available, it still takes time to get to know somebody or to have all those conversations or to see people walk through different seasons of life. So I definitely really think you learn more the more you invest into a person, the more time that you're investing with that person. And it's very important to be intentional, as we can keep coming back to, in those times, in those space. And I'm not saying necessarily intentional with what you do, but how you curate the environment for you guys to cohesively get to know one another. You know what I mean? So I would agree with Sumi when it comes to kind of being open to let us create our path of how we're going to flow throughout life. And for men, I would double back on that too. 100%. I think it's very vital for them to do a coffee date or do a walk to see what a woman's intentions are. Because people are so money driven now in the relationships, especially women. That you really get to see somebody's true colors from the beginning when you take it slow. And honestly, those are great places to curate great conversations as well. And I think that's how you truly get to know someone. So I would definitely say going out there and doing the coffee dates and the walks and continually doing those things. It's a bunch of fresh air. It is definitely a good idea to continue to curate your relationship.
Absolutely. I have to get off for a minute.
Okay.
If I miss you, I gotta get the last picture of the sunset.
Get that sunset. Sumi, what was you gonna share?
There's a little X in the corner. You should be able to hit it.
Half a heart because I'm holding the phone with the
That's do she got
Yeah,
it.
I think she got it.
Show me, you was gonna say something. What was you gonna say?
Yeah, Angelique had said something that sparked up something in me. Oh, I think it was where she had said, when you ask your partner, hey, what do you prefer and what do you like? And they're like, well, I'm just gonna do whatever you wanna do. I wanna like whatever you like. So I had to take a moment to read books and also do some research about the difference between the male and the female, since I'm interested in males, right? Is how do they see things? What are some of their
Very different.
hormonal? It's very different, right?
Very different.
Because
Like from another planet different.
they do. I came to find out that when you're being yourself 100%, is actually what, if you're in the area of, dating the male gender, right? What the males actually prefer is what you prefer. To be honest, like that's the majority of the guys, right?
Yeah.
They prefer what you prefer. They prefer to see you happy.
Happy, yeah.
So it is, as long as you as a woman are being yourself and you're living in your dream and paying attention to you, that is what makes them happy. I don't know if this makes sense.
It makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense.
So you want to at all times be yourself. You want, as a woman, you want to at all times, be in your space, be doing your own things, prioritizing your life, your kid's life, whatever it is that makes you you. You want to 100% of the time always take care of yourself. And as long as you're also bringing along your partner, this is actually what makes the other gender happy. That's what I noticed, right? So it is, and sometimes you have one-off situations where people are different. Well, in that case, are we using our spiritual guidance or whatever guidance that you have internally to determine if this person is actually telling you the truth, right?
That's a good one.
Yeah, so paying attention to your body, paying attention to, what it is that makes, I don't know, if you're having tingly sensations, for example, and you're like, okay, I'm feeling weird about this person in this way. Sometimes it is your own insecurities. As a matter of fact, most times it is your insecurities. So you want to come into the knowledge of, okay, I'm a little bit confused here, spirit, or God, or whoever you work with, right? I'm a little bit confused. Is this me being insecure, or is this him lying? Which one is it?
Right.
So paying attention to yourself and really just taking it one day at a time and not rushing things, because at the end of the day, you want to be happy. You want touch. You want to cuddle.
Yeah.
This is something that I had to sit down and think about is, yes, celibacy, abstinence, this is beauty, this is a beautiful thing, but there are moments where I just want to watch TV and cuddle.
I know.
Under a blanket.
Yeah.
With a glass of wine or whatever.
Yeah.
And pizza. So
Yeah.
it is mostly about just playing along at times as well. And, understanding that even though I don't understand the wholeness of this person, I want to get to see them in their wholeness. I also want them to see themselves. Because a lot of the times we don't even allow people to show who they are.
Or they
We
choose
want
not
to
to.
tell them how we want to be treated. We want to tell them how we want things. It's not necessarily that. You got to let people be people.
Exactly.
And you're able to see them in their wholeness. I mean, the amount of conversations that I've had with this individual where he knows that I'm a talker and he wants to listen. I've never had anybody want to sit down and be like, oh, I just want to listen to you all day. I mean, it's a new world for me, and I enjoy just the letting myself be. And when I feel like I'm getting too much far ahead of myself, I have to calm. Sumi, you're getting too excited. Sumi, I need you to shut the fuck up and just listen. Listen, don't let your freaking
Tell him to shut the fuck up.
female hormones fuck us up. Like, calm down, so I have to breathe, so talking myself through this
Yes, love you too.
Have a good one. Enjoy the talk. This was a good one. I wish I was. I'll talk to y'all soon now.
Bye.
Bye.
Sumi, I want to ask you because since you said like it's new to have someone who actually listens, it's new to have someone who like genuinely is present with that. How is it when we have this awareness that we have, when we are in the sense this elevation? Because in a sense, like when you awaken, you do see the world different than 99.9% of the world because we know the truth. We know who we are and things of that. But how is it going into a new experience when maybe old patterns or old just ways of being may come up? Because when you have someone listen to you, that is like, wait, do I just talk my life away? Do I just minimize? Like, I'm sure there's a lot of questions that come up for you. Like, how do I handle this? How do I approach this? I wanted to ask you that.
Okay.
Yeah, for me, how I've been able to do this, to be honest, is I go back to the basics. And I say to myself, I like to show myself 100% of the time, right? I don't know how to pull back into the world of, hey, if you're a woman and you're in the dating world, don't talk too much because that means this person, you know, you don't want to let them see you and you don't want them to know you like them, or, you know, all of these chatters. And for me, it is basically being myself as 100% as possible. Maybe I'll say probably 90%. Because if I say I'm myself 100%, I think I might be lying a little bit. But maybe 90%. Maybe 90%, because at the end of the day, I'm also still getting to know this person. You know, so it's important for me to maybe just leave some of my important discussions till later, because do I know that this is going to be my forever person? I don't know, right? So it is me chatting my life away if I have to, because that's how I want to feel heard. And if you are thinking that this is too much of me showing myself, then you're not the person for me, because I am supposed to be authentic. I am supposed to be original. I'm not supposed to be fake, because that is who I am. So if you're feeling or showing me signs that I talk too much, or I'm doing too much, or I'm being too much, like, get the fuck away. Why are we talking?
That's bad.
So it is also you coming into your sense and telling yourself, hey, Sumi, if you're feeling like you're doing too much, this is not you doing, this is you being you. And if he doesn't like it and he cannot communicate and verbally communicate it with you with normal words without yelling or being an idiot, then he's not yours. Simple. So it might be, it's to be honest, it's challenging sometimes, but I have to remind myself to put myself aside and let people also be themselves. Because at the end of the day, it makes me happy that I am seeing the full version of him, right? So I want to talk about kinks, for example. Like, first off, like, that's usually my conversation. I want to know your kinks. I want to know your desires. I want to know the baddest things you've done. Like, let's talk about it, because I want to talk about mine. Are you kidding? I've done this. You know, and also being present and not freaking out when this person tells you that they've slept with 5,000 people. You know, like, why do you want to, if they're being themselves, why do you not want to hear what they've done?
Yeah.
You hear what they did and then go to the doctor and get checked.
Exactly. I want to know everything.
Like, wait, man, you looking pretty?
That's what it comes down to. And it's interesting that Helen brings this up, because we literally just had this conversation where I'm sending him, you know, screenshots of my HIV, syphilis, gonorrhea, whatever.
That's
like, I'm
valid.
sending him screenshots like, this is the last time I took my test. These are the dates. That's my face. That's my record. Where is yours? And he's sending screenshots, and we're sharing these, because what if, you know, tomorrow we're together and then something happens, right? Because
it's a whole new world out there.
being spontaneous, right?
Yep. Yep.
So it's really just it's a game of luck sometimes, but if spirit has your back and you're sure about yourself, but you're not really sure, I mean, at the end of the day, it is also seeing it as an experience and understanding whatever it is that I get out of this, I'm learning.
Mm.
Whatever it is, good or bad, that I get out of this, it's supposed to be part of my experience because that means they need to bring something out of me. So it is also not being afraid to take a risk.
I love that.
I needed to hear that.
Yeah, just being willing to, like you said, just be out there, be open, take that risk. It's so important to really draw in a person that you want to spend your life with. And something that was coming up for me was how I've never really been like a go out and date so I could just have somebody type of person. I've always been I want a long term relationship. I want to spend my life with someone. Right? So like what's the rush? Why are we rushing
That's the
into
plan.
yeah, and it's just like why am I rushing into just being like, oh, I'm in a relationship. Okay, now we're like okay, it's like, okay, now what? I've been very much somebody who just allows interactions to build, and then I'm like, oh, we're kind of like spending a lot of time together, and we're talking, we might have done some things, and I really, I like this. Let's kind of be more intentional. That word again. Let's be more intentional about building a relationship, building a life together, versus just going out into the world and being again 21 questions. I mean, Sumi is like, I love Sumi because she's just like, I'm gonna ask all the things, but I feel like the way you go about it is different than somebody being like, okay, so what do you do? What do you like? What do you do on the weekends? Like, who's your mom?
That's an interview.
Yeah. Instead of just being like, these are some things I like to talk about. Let me ask you a couple questions. Like that's a different tone. So I feel like for me, when it comes to being open and being, like you said, just being a real version of yourself with somebody that is risky, and that is something that I need to work through because a lot of times in just any relationship, whether it be like work or friendship, like kind of like Helen was saying, we tend to put on a mask, we tend to put on a performance because we're like in a certain situation and it calls for certain behaviors or language or whatever. And so we have these different characters that we play, but when it comes to wanting a life partner, when it comes to wanting to be with a soulmate, being that full, authentic version of yourself with them is so crucial. Otherwise, you won't be really getting that authentic connection. So I love that you brought that up.
Yeah, and I think sex, to be honest with you, is one of the fastest ways for people to open up. I promise you. You just throw in a sex joke or a sex talk, it opens people up, especially men. They get this excitement, and because at the end of the day, it's possible that it's going to be part of, you guys' union or whatever, right? So why avoid the topic, right? Oh, if I talk about sex, maybe he's going to think that's what I want from him. No, come into it as this is conversational, and I enjoy conversations like this. I would like to know you more in this area, and this is my idea. What do you think of this topic? Or another best way that he started with was he would send me a reel, and then we would just chat back and forth about it, like all day. It's like, nope, I don't agree with your point. This is my point instead. And it might sound a little bit harsh, but this is my viewpoint, and I'm sticking with it. And then he will throw in some other questions like, okay, I think I kind of sort of see your reasoning, so creating conversations because that is life.
That's
Do we really have to hide who we are? We don't, because we really don't, honestly, because you want to see a person that's original, a person that's living in their truth, right? Because for me, that was another thing. Because I'm looking at the world and I'm seeing a lot of spiritual men because I'm a very spiritual person. So it's like, okay, I think my idea of a perfect person has to be a spiritual person. But then when I'm, tuning into source, it's like, if you find a person that's that, are you gonna be challenged? Like, I need, with as a woman that's like having a ton of ideas in my head about different types of topics. I want to be challenged. I cannot be bored. So also understanding your personality. Like, do I actually want someone that's like me? Maybe I want someone that's a little bit different.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe I want someone that can just be slightly off of, from me, so that way we can have more fun, because then I would want to learn this, apart from what I already know about life and what I already know about these topics and these things, right? So it's exciting, but you really have to just sometimes throw away yourself as a person and be like, okay, this is me, I get it, but how can I get to know this person? Because I sort of already know who I am, right?
I have one last thing to say,
Okay.
and then I'm done.
Okay.
It's not that much work if it's organic. If it happens organically, it's not hard.
Facts.
And the knowing just comes. And I've had 2 relationships like that, so I know what I'm talking about. All this other bullshit's exhausting. Like, just bump into me and be the right person. I don't have time for this shit. But when it's organic, I mean, when you spot somebody across the room and you both walk in, I've had that twice. So, maybe I'm done. Maybe I'm done, But it's, this past many years of being alone and finding you guys have pushed me into finding myself. So now I am walking around with different energy, different vibration, different alignment. So whatever happens, we'll see what happens. But I'm telling you, when it's real, it's not hard. I was walking 6 feet off the ground for months, and I never even wanted to get married, and we were married for 16 years, and it was wonderful. And he's a wonderful guy. Just the universe will come in and say, no, we're done. Time to move on. You don't know why. The first thing after not talking to each other for years, the first thing he said to me was, I don't know what happened to us. So, we've both gone on and lived our lives, and we're friends. He's remarried, so I don't want to step over any line, but we keep in touch every now and then just to see how everybody's doing, but when it's real, it doesn't take all that much work. See me, it's just like, it's exhausting. I'm just too old, been there, done that maybe, But I know that you just have to be your true self. And like this guy that I told you about, as soon as he came to see me, he wanted to, I'm not a materialistic person. He wanted to take me to buy perfume, buy jewelry, buy. I'm not into money. I'm into the soul. Show me what your soul is. I don't care about all that, That don't last. So
But I wonder too, could that be a love language that we may misinterpret? Because some people, their love language is acts of service, is gifts. And I know that even like for me, I think my love language is time, because I'm so stingy with my time. I'm an energy snob. So if I make time for you, I love you. I care about you. I am the king of I can't go. I don't want to go. Don't invite me. So if I actually am saying I'm gonna go and I commit to a date, like even that, because a lot of times I don't get asked out on dates. So that's the thing. I'm shifting this vibration of what I'm sending out, and I'm like, universe, send me someone who wants to go on date. I get people who just want to pop, get it popping. Right. And I know that it comes in so many different. I know that it's a part of my field, because that's something that I am familiar with myself. So I know that is the energy that okay. Instagram is like, yep.
Glad you know.
I didn't need the extra validation Instagram. But I know that, and I know just throughout my life, I've always had that, oh, you're so okay, IG, you better give
You're
Let
having a
me know.
breakthrough.
I'm having a breakthrough. It's letting me know you're on the right path. But I know that that's been a pattern of mine is where I would attract people who, oh my God, you're so gorgeous, you're so beautiful, yada yada yada, and that abandoned, neglected, unworthy version of me would just take that and feed off of that, and I'd be like, oh my God, tell me more, give me more, I need this attention. But now, like when I hear that, to me, that doesn't draw me in. It actually like pushes me back, and it makes me fall back because I'm like, okay, I go back to I know where this is gonna go. I know where you're into, and if I'm being honest, it's hard for me to receive compliments from someone who have an interest in me because I'm already assuming that this is what you want from me or this is where this is gonna go. So that's where I'm even learning to this day. How do I receive it, but not like close my? Because once I get that, now I'm becoming closed. But of course, I don't want you to not give me attention or give me love. So that's where I've been trying to find how do I navigate with being aware of an old pattern or old like type of attraction that I would have, but also being open to when this may be an old kind of familiar feeling, but it may come in a new way. So how can you allow yourself to be open for them to give, but also it not be being pushed to I just want to get in your underwear. That's where I've been learning, like, kind of trying to, not trying, but I've been learning how to navigate through that because I don't want to push away because I am who I am. I look how I look. And that's, I get that whether they want to be romantic with me or they're just passing by me. I just have that light and that energy. But how do I not get lost in it or not be closed off because of it? Is really where I've been like pondering that question.
Honestly speaking, what this is coming up for me is if you are experiencing situations where you need to be closed and not share information with someone to get to know you more, it is definitely your insecurity. And then you are, you know, we attract people that is exactly like us. There's a certain reason why we're attracting this individual.
Really?
Right? So for that reason, it is also that part of ourselves that we need healing, right? I'll give you an example. So my very first couple of weeks of talking with this individual, my insecurities were high. I mean, I might seem like one of the strongest people you've seen and all that, but trust me, when it comes to men, I'm like, because I let my brain take over. Sometimes I don't want to come from spirit. Sometimes I don't want to come from my heart because it's like alert, another person coming. So for me, it can be scary. And I noticed that it was a lot of my insecurities. So I decided within myself, well, for that reason, I'm just gonna, pull back a little and maybe get to know this person. The fact that he is wanting to work with me, for example, and not have sex, until maybe this amount of time. Is a more reason why maybe I can trust him a little bit more because that's difficult, right?
Absolutely. I think you're doing it great, Sumi.
Right.
You're doing it the right way.
So for me, it's, all of the things that we've done so far, how has he been able to handle it? If he's able to handle this and this and this, at least maybe 90 or 80 to 90% of what we've talked about so far, then maybe I can let my guard down in these areas, right? So it's a lot of giving and taking and really just enjoying it and having fun and not letting our heads, think so much about, oh, maybe he's there to get me. Oh, he could be a serial killer.
That trapped me in his basement.
Because if we actually were to sit down and think about the statistics, the serial killers, they're not everybody in the world.
Right.
There's a percentage. So maybe he's not a serial killer.
Right.
If I've been praying to win the lottery for, how old am I? I'm 37. And I haven't won yet, maybe I'm not going to attract a serial killer.
And so I'm laughing because I blocked somebody's number like a couple weeks ago because I thought they were trying to sex traffic me. I'm like, oh hell no, not on my watch. I was leaving the grocery store. I was leaving the grocery store. And this guy was in like this Mercedes, and it was cute. I wasn't even paying attention. I was trying to get up and go, and he was trying to get my attention, and I'm like, okay, what? So I like pulled back in. I rolled down my passenger side, and just he was attractive, but then his like energy of what he was like coming at me, maybe because we were in the parking lot and it was so quick, and I gave him my number, but then I was like. My alerts was like, no, do not give this energy. When he called me, I blocked his number. He called me from another number. I blocked it. I'm like, I don't know if I can trust it. So I laugh at that. So maybe because I got in my mind and I said, alert, jump off the ship.
Before the guy even got to the dock, he was like, sitting back.
And it's funny that we bring this up. Okay, so there was a moment in time where I felt so lonely. I mean, it was a darn day, and I remember being extremely vulnerable. And I had practiced meditation that day, and I really prayed to God, and I was like, God, I know you see how young I am right now. And it would be nice to maybe have a person to just cuddle with, even if it's just for 5 minutes. That was what I told God. I'm like, you know what? I would like to have a person. Like, if you are there and you actually are within me and you're listening to me and you're hearing this, now send me a person. And then I will love you forever. And I kid you not, within 24 to 48 hours was when I met this person.
Okay.
And in my head, after meeting this person and having all of these chatter in my head, like, nope, what is this? He might actually not be the one. Like, he might not. But am I having fun today? Right? Am I having fun, at this moment with this person? Do I want to have fun? So a lot of the times when we pray or we ask for things, they're literally right there in front of us because our prayers are getting answered even before we ask, because God knows our needs, right? Source knows our needs and does not want to see us die alone, right? So what are we also doing to like listen to Source? Yes, they could look like a serial killer. Okay, since you have that thought, how about you ask for, if they say, oh, let's go on a date, ask for the date to be in a public setting, right? Yeah. First 3, 4, 10 dates. Let it be in a public
setting. In the daytime, not at night, please.
Exactly. So also working with Source.
Red dog. Red the Doberman.
But anyways, also just working with Source, because when Source is providing, you also do want to show that you're willing to work with Source, right? Yeah. Because so are you working with Source? Are you being like, okay, thank you for providing this person, but I have seen these traits and I don't want to have anything to do. Can you, be better with providing another person? And Source actually just listen, because sometimes you also want to listen to your instincts and not freaking go out with a serial killer, right?
I think I made it perfectly clear that I'm not interested. I told Source, hold up, let me work on me.
I need more working on it.
I love you guys.
We love you too.
Simi, you are so good for me. I swear to God, it's just unbelievable. I give you all. I send blessings of love, open joy to all of you. in the love world, it's like it ain't the same now as it was when I was 25. Okay. I traveled cross country with a guy, that I just met when I was 16. Traveled cross country, slept in deserts and everything else, and I lived to tell about it. We were together for 13 years. I don't know that I would do that now.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, because it made me think I've done similar. I've moved out the country for someone, and honestly, I don't regret it. Like I though it didn't work out in my heart, I knew that it wasn't because of just accumulation of different signs and signals that I just knew it wasn't gonna pan out
Yeah.
beyond what it was. But I'm grateful that I had the experience because I took a chance. I explored outside of my comfort, and I was able to see that I know when to jump out of the ship when I see it sinking and not sink with the
Yeah.
ship. So I was able to have that experience. And now I guess because relationships is such a fragile area for me because it's something that, if I'm being honest, like I've never been in a long term relationship. The longest I've been in a long term relationship was 6 months. So that is like there's excitement, there's fear, there's self doubt, there's um am I able, am I capable? There's so many questions that come up for me when I think about a partner. And I know that there is one that's out waiting for me. I know that they're actually probably in my face and I haven't even seen them because I've been blinded by what I don't want or focusing as I was aware of talking to Sister Angelique earlier. Like I'm over here like I don't want this energy. And she was like, well, if you putting that out, that's what you're gonna attract. So maybe shift what
I
you're
forgot
putting
about
out.
that.
And I'm like, damn, okay, that was a good reflection that she gave me because I was still speaking in the past tense. And if I'm in the past, that's what I bring in the present. That's what I create for the future. But now I'm like really thinking, like, what do I want? And I do want someone who is I can communicate with because I do love conversations. Like for me, that's how you have me. Is if I can have a very deep, in-depth conversation with you, I want to explore that. But I've noticed that when I'm based it on the physical, when I go into communication conversation, there's not much. If I think you're beautiful and attractive, and then we're like, oh, let's talk, I'm like, damn, we don't really have much. Because I go deep
Exactly.
and I am talking about things that a lot of the common people don't talk about. So that's where I'm like, oh wait, you're stuck in this space and time of where the world is. Okay. And that's where for me, and I don't know if that's me judging or if that's me just aware that that isn't where I'm at. And I don't want to be pulled into that place or try to, because I used to be a chameleon. I knew how to
Yeah.
camouflage
Me too.
myself and adapt and adjust to different environments very well. But right now, it's like I don't want to be a chameleon. I want to be me and just make and see if you're in alignment with who I am. But also, you have me thinking to me like, but also being willing to throw away who I know myself to be because I know me who I am now, but how can I explore, hey Val, how can I explore someone to get to know them and not base it on my own checklist of, well, this is what I want, this is what and it's like, have my desires, but don't let them be the blocks that keep me from having a connection because it's not all checked off. So you really open me up with your shares on me because it's like, okay, just because I know myself, don't get lost in that and not open myself up to get to know someone else because of you say something or don't say something and I'm like, oh, you're not the one. Versus, wait, I haven't even explored it enough to even see. I just my mind and got closed off, which made me close my heart. So now I'm closing myself off versus allowing myself just to be in that curiosity and exploration of like, well, maybe let me see. Maybe that was just something that reference to a past experience that maybe shut me off, but let me open myself off because I'm in the present now. So it's so much that comes through. And I knew that this conversation was going to bring up a lot because
Yeah.
it is I feel like in the world now, because we do get lost in the lustfulness and the physicalness of it, that it's hard to get into the soulfulness. So it's
It
really for
is.
me.
It is very hard, and I agree. One thing that I had to definitely do, though, that I'm still doing, is basically just putting myself aside, right? And all of the ideas and noise that I have in my head as to how it needs to be. Because I tell you, if I were to go with every single thing that this person has said, some of it, I'd say 5 to 10% of it has pissed me the hell off. And I'm like, hell no. But then when I see his actions, like for example, I had a very down moment, I think about a week ago, or maybe 2 weeks ago. I was in a very negative state. It was so bad that day that he could feel it from the phone, from our phone conversation. He goes, I've never been to your place. I don't know where you are, but do you want me to come over and just give you a hug? And I promise you guys, that was it. I was like, sure, here's my address. And he comes right here in front of, my home. And he's like, hey, I'm here. I go outside and I, give him a hug. We take a walk around my neighborhood. It was 30 minutes and that was what I needed. And he was gone.
Cool.
But then if you were to think about the day before that was when he had said something and I was like, but the truth is, a lot of times we have words. We have words. What I mean here is words are here for us to communicate with, right? But then sometimes some people don't know how to use the right words. I'm finding vocabulary to be a very big thing for me. I'm not 100% American. I wasn't born in this country. I was born in Africa and, moved down here. Remember that thing you said yesterday? I did not understand it and I was pondering it and I could not sleep. And I think you need to break it down for me to understand. Versus me in my old time, I don't want to tell him that I couldn't sleep because I was thinking about something that, if I tell him this, he's going to know who I am. I'm thinking about him too much, but he's going to think I like him. Well, I like you. That's not talking to you.
I wouldn't be talking to you if I didn't. Yeah.
Sammy, I was born here and I don't know what the hell they're talking about here.
So we can't all be compatible towards each other. That's another idea of trying to let that sink in. Like, okay, I can be compatible with Angelique. I can be compatible with Ramel or Helen. We can be, but it's just, to be honest, it's a lot of noise. I feel like a lot of what we're dealing with today is stupid noise from people, from experiences. And I promise you, all of those people that come on social media and talk against relationships, they have the best relationships in their homes. They are cuddling every night with their perfect person.
It's a scam.
It's a
I promise
scam.
you, most of them, when you actually research, they're like, oh, be your authentic true self, and blah, blah, blah. What does that even mean? Some people don't even know what that means, right?
All right.
And when he says this, no, you gotta say no to him and not do this and not do that. Well, but then you've been married for 15 years, or you probably have a side chick.
Right.
Yeah. Or you're being yourself.
Instagram is like unfollow them.
Not for nothing, but I was with this guy 5 years ago, madly in love. And I got betrayed and cheated on. He was married and had a supply on the side. I didn't know people did that kind of stuff. I didn't know people did that kind of stuff. I didn't do that. I don't do that kind of stuff. So it took me a long time to crawl out of that hole. Really. I mean, to be betrayed so raw. It was so raw, and like for me, like I don't know this kind of way of being. Like when I was married, I didn't want to get married, but it was important to him. I loved him, so I did. But once I did, the only thing I worried about was which one of us would die first. I never thought of it ending. For some reason, it ended. But I mean, yeah, I don't know, Sammy. I give you a lot of credit. You were so good for me. You guys, you guys are a million steps ahead of where I was when I was your age. I've just had to learn it as I've gone along, and I'm looking at myself. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah. But thank you, Helen. But another thing that actually just popped up for me is sitting down to actually sometimes get out of my dream state back into the reality of things. What is the statistics of people that cheat? And if we were to actually break it down to the logistics, I feel like 90% of people have done something that is outside of their normal person. And when we actually now break it up into gender, it's like more men doing this, maybe women are doing this less. Now, when we come into the realization of understanding that everything is based out of energy, right? For example, our feelings, us as a individual, everybody else around us, right? Then you automatically go into the idea of, what if this person cheats on me? What if this person does this? Well, then, how about looking into the statistics of why people do it in the first place? So I've been asking men, I have gone on a rampage of asking men questions like, why exactly do you cheat? Right? Since my fear in this dating world, in having a relationship is, I don't want to be cheated on, let me start asking the questions as to why people do it in the first place. And a lot of the times, the answers I'm getting is, oh, it's just as if, kind of like, if you like cooking, which I do, then I go to the gym and I find a person and I just do it 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And sometimes it feels like a game to me. Sometimes, I just want to conquer the world and show a lady that I'm able to get her because I'm a man. There is this testosterone.
I don't care what the reason is. It's bullshit.
So yes, it is bullshit, Helen. It absolutely is. But at the same time, when we base it off of energy, anybody can do this because we cannot really control ourselves. When we look at statistics and probability of mathematics, for example, we have math for a reason. I can be here right now being all sweet-faced and everything, but do you really know what it is that I do every single day, right? Let's take a child, for an example. We have, a kid, beautiful boy, you give birth to a beautiful son or whatever. He grows up, he picks up a gun, and then he freaking shoots down the entire school, hypothetically. Right. And when that kid was born, we all worshipped heavens. The gate of heaven was open and everybody was excited at this kid. But then 17, 18 years later, the kid became an idiot and just killed people, right? And now it's like, what did he do? Why did he do this? Why is God not answering our prayers? So it is mostly about understanding that even though what he did was bad, he also did fulfill a part of his contract here on earth, right? So when you see cheating in that particular instance of people doing it because they have to maybe fulfill their part, it's been done, right? So do I really want to bother myself about a topic that I don't understand? Or do I want to have fun right this moment and cuddle?
That's valid.
Because that's what you're looking for, right? Because you can't really control the art of what people do. You cannot, it's impossible to control people. So maybe taking it one day at a time and maybe not being bogged down so much with what is going on out there, because if you're not cheating in this area, I promise you you're cheating in this area. Everyone's doing something. Like, we cannot all get it right. We're all stupid and we're all fun at the same time. We just are. There's some things that I'm so good at that Angelique is like, nope. And there's some things she's so amazing at where I'm like, oh my God, I want to learn from you, girl. We're all crazy and we're all amazing.
Yeah,
so
but see, for me,
from that angle, it always works. I mean, most times it works.
It's just differences, like I just have expectations, what I assume to be moral and of good character. I'm a different generation, I'm 72 years old. I mean, that just doesn't fly with me. But I understand what you're saying is absolutely true. What you're saying is absolutely true. I can't wrap my mind around it, though. That's all.
I think,
and that's okay,
Yeah, for me, I feel like And I'm 31, so I'm slightly younger than everybody here. Um, but for me, I've felt like if somebody is cheating, like just go be over there. Like it doesn't feel like an offense to me. I'm not like I'm all emotionally like you betrayed me and I hate you. I'm just like if that's where you want to be at, then just be over there. Like if you want to
Yeah.
be over here, then we can be over here. And I'm very, I don't want to say I'm like
Yeah.
into like open relationships, but if we are just like kind of in that kind of talking, getting to know each other phase, and
Mm-hmm.
um, they bring something to me. I'd rather you just tell me about it than me find out, like have some
Exactly.
sort of like inkling, like, oh, are they messed? Like I don't spend my brain
I
power
don't
on
like
that.
lie. I
I
don't like
don't I don't
lying.
spend my brain power on trying to figure out if somebody's cheating or checking phones or sliding into their DMs and
No.
checking their.
No.
I don't have the time. Like,
No.
so if you're going to like do something, and it gets to me and I find out that you cheated or you were with somebody else, I'm gonna just ask, like you were saying, like, why did you do this? Like, is it like some sort of power trip, or is it,
Mm-hmm.
something you just had this urge, or what is it? I don't immediately go into, oh, I feel so betrayed and I hate you and this will never work. You feel me? And that's, everybody's different. You feel me?
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's really just for me,
I
it's just
know.
like, why is that a choice that you made that you felt like you had to go do this when we could have just had a conversation. We could have just had a conversation and we figure out whatever is going on, or
We could have a whole
yeah,
other conversation about this part of the conversation.
true.
I
It's
think
just,
True.
I
you
think
know,
about the growth that I've had on my journey because I remember I had a partner that cheated on me, and I knew before I knew. It's like I knew.
I did too.
And I didn't know, but I knew. And when I confronted them about what I didn't know but knew, I knew that they were about to tell me what I knew. And I'm like, damn, okay. And this was like years ago before I even started this work. So that's why I'm like seeing the growth because in that time, I had so much hurt, so much unworthiness, so much pain and rejection just all bundled up and balled up within me that when I
Mm-hmm.
found out, I exploded.
Mm-hmm.
Like honestly, like I asked him, okay, I didn't even ask him if it happened. I said, when did it happen? Because I already knew it happened. I didn't know, but my soul, something in me was like, they cheated on you. And I'm like, okay. So I'm like, when did it happen? And when they told me, I blacked out and let's just say it wasn't a pretty situation because it was the hurt that volcano erupted and it all just poured out of me. But now where I'm at in just my journey, I'm open not for cheating, but I'm open for us, like Sister Angelique was saying, to have the conversation to have an open relationship because I think about can I just be with one person for the rest of my life intimately and just be
Mm-hmm.
satisfied with that? And I'm not
Yeah.
sure if that's something because I haven't had it for 41 years, just one
Mm-hmm.
person. So now just to say, okay, now for the next half of
For
your
the
life,
rest
you're
of
just gonna
my
be with
life.
one person, like that
Yeah.
for me it kind of scares me because I
Yeah.
have so much freedom to just be, do, and have what I want that now it's like, okay, so, and I know that maybe when I do meet that person, I will just be so connected, like, I just want to be with you. But then as time goes on, because I've been exposed to different relationships that have been together for 17 plus years, and they
Mm-hmm.
bring people into their relationships for
Mm-hmm.
that portion to spice it up, keep it fun, keep it
Explore
funky,
things.
and they still have an amazing connection and they have a strong
Mm-hmm.
relationship. So I always think to myself, like, would I be open to after a length of time of being with my partner, saying, okay, now let's explore, let's try some things out just to spice it up and keep it funky. Or
Yeah.
I know certain relationships where it's like it's open and you do you, I do me, but we don't tell each other what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
But we know that it's open. We know it.
See, I'd
So
rather you just tell me. Just like I don't know. I just feel like if we are
I'm
really
having.
sharing a life and an experience together, just tell me like what's going on? I don't know. And if I
I'm
decide
having.
that I don't want to
Sorry.
be keep hearing you talk about this other person and how you're out here
Mhm.
doing all these other things, then I'm gonna just say, hey, this isn't. We
Gonna
can just
work.
be friends. Like it does, and it
I'm
doesn't have to
having
be
an
that
aha
deep.
moment.
Mm,
I'm having an aha moment.
Are you? Sure.
Yes, because of Angelique and Sumi, mainly. And the thought just came into my head that I'm not that same person anymore. Like I wouldn't deal with it the same way. I'm seeing now what Sumi's talking about and what Angelique is talking about, and it's a personal power where you're not so vulnerable, and you deal with it totally different. Like I was in a place where I was devastated, I was crushed, I was broken into a million pieces. That I'm not that way. That Helen is gone. So it just had an aha moment listening to two girls, and I'm thinking, yeah, I'm not that same person anymore. I could see myself responding, listening like Sumi does, and responding like Angelique did. And it's like, wow, yeah, that's not going to happen again. Like, but I don't share.
Ella said, "You're mine."
I don't share. So if you want to go, go.
Yeah.
Be honest. Be honest. I want the truth, warts and all. Warts and all. Let me know, and I'll show you the door.
Yeah.
Because I want to be the only one. I don't share.
Yeah.
Sylvia, I'm feeling your energy. What's on your mind? Because I'm feeling it.
I think you're muted.
You're muted, Sylvia.
You muted, Sumi.
Thank you. So what's on my mind is the moment I decided to try again and test the waters out there was I had a special realization, and this was it. It was, Sumi, this is your ideal type. You see yourself as a princess, you see yourself as a queen, Sumi. So it needs to be a king, it needs to be a prince, he needs to be charming, he needs to be handsome, he needs to be this, height.
Regal.
And he needs to wear Gucci shoes.
Get those slides on.
Because I wear Gucci shoes. What the hell? But what then happened to me at that moment was, the reason why you've been so lonely and not, finding this area of your life difficult is because you already have a preconceived idea of how it needs to be. Sumi, how about you put that aside and just be open and just learn? And when you don't put in the idea of this is how it needs to be, you would most likely find the right one. Because then you're talking to everybody. You're talking to the short kings.
Right, exactly.
Talking to the knights and the farmers and all the people.
And I promise you guys, when I did that, I feel like I'm much more now on the side of things where I'm starting to meet people that are like me. Quirky like me, a little bit on the spiritual side like myself, a little bit about, the government is doing this, so because of that, you gotta be careful. Oh my God, the Matrix, right? And I promise you, I did not even know that he was into that kind of stuff until we were driving this one day, and then he goes, "You see that thing right there? That's a mind control shit." Look at him like, "You believe in mind control things?"
I think that every time I pass
you. So for me, it is, really just putting myself aside, and because I want to have fun.
Yeah.
I really do.
Of course.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I'm sitting in a dark spot all by myself, so I think it's time for me to go.
I was looking at that, Helen.
Yes, get home safely.
But thank guys. I
Thank
love you all.
you. We love you
Really.
too. Thank you,
Each
Helen.
and every one of you.
Thank you.
I will take the words home with me and think about it when I'm driving. But you guys give me something to think about as per usual.
Sit with your
Yeah.
ahas.
I know.
Love you much.
Love
Thanks,
you.
Bye.
Bye.
I knew that this topic was gonna really open a lot up for everyone, even myself. That's why you notice I was more listening than speaking, because I wanted to observe. Because this is a topic that I'm still a student in, like really notebooks, learning and growing through.
Yeah.
But I know that it's something that cause it's the season, and I don't know if it's because it's fall, it's getting cold out here, and it's like you
Yeah.
want that companion, that partner. But I also, just beyond the season, I just want to have that experience before I'm done renting this vessel to have that partner that I can share life with, in whatever magnitude that is, and not. I don't want to say be lonely, but I do want to experience love in a romantic way because I have a lot of platonic love. I have a lot of soul family, friends, and things of that. But I want to because I know that's a part of my healing that it's really going to support that. Because we never really know how much we've grown or healed until we have experiences that really activate the heart and any insecurity, doubt, unworthiness, or whatever shadow that still may be lingering, it comes to the light when you're able to be in that experience. So I know that that is going to expose a lot that I still need to work through those experiences.
And guess what? These things that come into the light when we meet other people that are slightly different from us, right? These things, when we stumble on them, we are able to actually learn faster by meeting these people that are just a little bit different, right? Because you can't, even though we want people that are like us and, oh God, I want to meet my tribe and I want to meet my people, that's a beautiful thing, right? But maybe not all of us can do that because we're here to bring in the light into the dark areas, right? So it is mostly going back to the basics of why am I even here, right? And one thing that I probably forgot to mention is when I noticed that I was attracting the same people from my old self, right? I noticed that I was much more sexually attracted to them than I actually was heart attracted to them. So when I met a person or meeting people that are a little bit different in a way, I'm able to hold myself and hold space for the beautiful sexual encounters that we might have in the future, right? So I'm not so excited in that because he does not maybe meet my sexual ideal fantasy guy thing or whatever that is, right? So when you're meeting people that are just a little bit different, there is more conversations being had to the point where for me, I have to get juiced up into the idea of now let's do it. You have to really finger my brain. Like you have to make me happy. I have to see some worth. I have to get to know you. I have to get to, taste a little bit of the type of a person that you are for me to even get aroused, right? So it is also understanding yourself as a person and, before going into that world. So that way, when the beautiful people that check at least 80% of your boxes come through, you're able to recognize them and not push them away. Because for me, I've had countless amount of moments where I'm like, okay, that's it. We're done. No more conversation.
I didn't like the way you said hi. We're done.
I'm like, but yeah, you really, I have to work with spirit. Like spirit, he'd be testing me. Why would he say this? And why would he say that? And it is Sumi, I need you to take a deep breath. I really need you to work with us here. Like, you need to calm down because he's a person like you. And I'm like, oh my God. Can you give me another word? Like, I need you right now to like calm me down. So it's just a lot of me also putting myself aside and, getting to know myself in moments and also getting to know the person And maybe it's okay for just now, for me to just not do this so much since that's what I'm used to. So doing something almost entirely different, because then you're not putting in yourself too much to get too attached, right? Because you really want to get to know them. So it's a different world for sure, and I'm getting to know myself even better. And let's continue to like make this more about fun and not so much about what the ideal picture needs to be, because that's what's effing up our minds.
For sure.
Oh my goodness. I love that you brought it to fun. I love this topic.
Yes.
I thank you so much because you always come and wake it up, shake it up, and you have me thinking
Juice it
like
up.
about just so many things that open me up. We gotta wrap it up. We gotta wrap it up because they're kicking us out this library. But we love y'all. We thank y'all for this beautiful conversation, and we will see you all next Saturday. Love you, Sumi.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
One last. Bye.
Oh my goodness.